Today, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends, we are talking about accountability partners. How having one can change everything. It's time to get up. I was waiting for Jimmy to put me on screen. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Mornings in the Lab, where we keep it real, we keep it raw. Yeah, we keep it a little unfiltered. I'm your host. I'm Keith Bilous. I'm the child actor today. Not kidding aside. We got a child actor joining us today. Reminder. This is a explicit wake-up call. So if you're rolling over wondering if you're going to start the day today and you got kids in the room, I would invite you to walk the kids out of the room. Yeah, true story. Or put the headphones on. Today's show is all about the power of accountability. And it is a show that we are looking at rocking and rolling here today with you guys. I'm joined by Seamarty Fit, John Anderson, and of course, producer Kristina Flynn. And of course, on the other side of the glass, just way over there, it's producer Jimmy. Yeah, he's pressing the buttons, making sure we all look great and everything. We're breaking it down today on the show. We're breaking down accountability, how it can push you further, faster. But before we dig into things, nation, I'm going to invite you to smash that like button. And if you're not subscribed, hey, we keep adding a few subscribers every single day. I invite you to do it now and drop a comment below with the goal that you are chasing this week. And before we get any further, all right, team, let's look at what we are working with today. We got Nation. Jimmy, let's bring him up on the screen here today. I'm thinking that we got lawyer Kristina Flynn on the show today. We're in the black power suit, black on black. We got Jimmy and we got Johnny in the black. Fuck mental weakness. Maybe I'm thinking fuck mental. Yeah, there you go. Fuck mental weakness. He's got his uniform on today, the black and the red shirt, the red hat, black glasses. And Marty's got the black, less crunches, more crunches, the traditional red headphones on. And of course, I'm in black on black with the black Kangol hat and the brown glasses today. What's going on, team, this morning? How are you guys?
What's happening, baby?
Doing good, man. What's going on?
I'm good. No complaints. Hey, listen, I sat there with one of our listeners yesterday who's been a big fan of the show, and we had a little coffee, and I said, so what are you liking about the show? He's like, Keith, I love when I tune in that I never know what the hell anybody's going to say on your show. And then he says, next thing you know, I'm minutes into this thing, and then John's dropping something, and then I keep listening, and then Marty drops something, and then I keep listening, and I'm wondering what the hell you're going to say next. And he goes, next thing you know, 47 minutes have gone by, and I'm sitting with you guys. I'm like, yes, that's the whole point of the show. We got you hooked in. And people are like, what's Anderson going to say next? So what's Anderson going to say next, Marty?
Something disgusting.
Oh, come on. You got to give me a little more credit than that, man. I'm always saying something clever to get people to think a little deeper than they think they can. You know, I mean, the disgusting stuff is just the icing on the cake. The cake is all the good shit. That's the pearls of wisdom.
And then the cake comes out, and your cutter's got to do the work.
This is what's going to happen. Yes, this is what's going to happen. John just went on that whole spiel.
Yeah,
give it 5 minutes. He's going to say something crazy. Give it 5 minutes.
That's it. Hey, if you're just tuning into the show, before you dig in, I invite you to hit that subscribe button because you never know what's coming next. And if you miss the show, you can tune in later because we are on demand. Oh, yeah. So we do a live show, but after that, everything becomes on demand. So listen, I invite you guys to check out the channel here, Mornings in the Lab, and subscribe to it if you haven't. And if today's topic is going to resonate with you, which I know it will, share it with somebody who needs an accountability partner, who needs an extra boost. But hey, Johnny, Marty, Tina, let's get real for a second. We all have goals. Let's just do this. Get serious with you guys. We all have goals. But how many times have we set these goals, Marty, only to let them slip? How many times people go knock on your door saying, Marty, I set this goal a month ago, but I haven't hit it? Maybe it's lack of time, lack of distractions, or honestly, There's just actually nobody holding us accountable. Everybody has gym memberships, everybody has all these plans, but there's nobody helping them be accountable. That's why, in my experience, Marty, Johnny's experience, an accountability partner is so powerful. Someone who's not just pushing you, but holding you to your word when you stop slipping. Can you imagine getting that text from Anderson saying, hey, what'd you do today? You're like, oh, I got to do something. I'm telling you, in fact, exactly, Marty. Studies show having an accountability partner makes you 65% more likely to hit your goals. And if you want to get closer to 90%, state your goal publicly. Yeah, come on the show and say, I'm going to do this. That's what Colby White did a couple months ago. He's going to come back in December and say, yeah, that's what I'm doing. So it's not just about checking in, no nation. It's about someone believing in you. It's about partnering up with Marty. So partnering up with Bilous, Flinner, Anderson, and saying, hey, man, can you help me? I believe in you, even when you don't believe in yourself. So, John,
I got to jump in right there because you said we'll help you. And that's so true. And what we're going to help you do, we're going to help you be accountable to yourself. So your accountability partner is you, because once you're there, life has changed.
Yes. That's exactly it. Marty, what do you think of that? So, Marty, you got people calling you all the time saying, I need help. But I'm going to suspect, Marty, the hardest thing that your clients have difficulties with is this idea of accountability. Marty, you can give them every plan you want in the world, but if they can't execute on it, or if they miss a day and they need the encouragement to get going the next day, you're there. Talk about that power of the accountability partner. Because Marty, we've been talking about this for months now. Remember we did that episode, one of our bigger episodes, how do you break up with your accountability partner? Let's lean into this, Marty.
Well, I would say my job is definitely to hold you accountable. My job is to hold your hand a little bit. But I'm not with you for 24 hours. So my job is to teach you the habits to do on your own without me, right? So when you're going in the fridge, you should hear John Anderson's voice or see Marty's voice telling you to put down the cookie dough, put it back, let the kids and the wife have it, all right? You need to grab the vegetables and the protein. That's my job, all right? So I can't hold your hand the whole way. But, you got to develop those habits on your own and be your own accountability partner, like Johnny just said.
That's it. Good morning, Nikita. I see you here in the stream there. Good to have you here this morning on the show. Hey, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. But Tina, looking at you. So since you've joined the show and since you've been hanging out with us schmucks on a daily basis, has this idea of accountability kind of weaved someone in your life where you're thinking about something, you're like, well, maybe, I don't know, because my team might call me out or hold me accountable for it, in love, of course. But talk about the power of an accountability partner from your point of view. Kristina Flynn.
Yeah, I think the saying is you are the 5 people that you surround yourself with. And I think for me, that's become, they say that, but who knows who they are. But someone. I think for me, it's been like, oh, damn. Okay, I have 3 people that I surround myself with every day that I spend more time with than a lot of people in my life. And if they're all doing things that I aspire to do, both from a personal perspective and a professional perspective, well, they're obviously doing something right. And yeah, you begin to, like you said, you see John's face on the eggs in the morning. You begin to the benefits also. It's not just like, oh, I'm going to get in trouble or it's like you see directly the benefits of that lifestyle and the greatness that it brings the people around you. And then you feel more willing to, because I think for a long time, accountability for me, I was searching for like an external accountability tool. I was like, what's the tool? What's the tool? You know this, Keith, like with ADHD, I was like, I would literally pay for a platform that all of my money filtered through. And if I didn't do my goals, I don't get paid. Like something so dramatic and so drastic to that, because it's so difficult. But listen, turns out all you have to do is find 3 weirdos on the internet to have a show with, and that works.
It's true. And accountability, I would argue, is linked as much to purpose. When you wake up and start your day, what's your purpose? Because if you have a purpose, we talk about working backwards. Yesterday's show, we talked about setting a date in the future and working backwards from it. But if you wake up with a purpose, there's one thing I've gotten to know about John and Marty and even yourself, Flynn, is that you guys wake up with a purpose, then you work backwards from that. And Marty yesterday dropped a video in my feed. And yes, Flynn, yes, Anderson, I did acknowledge that Marty dropped a video in my feed.
Oh, well done, Marty. How did it make you feel inside?
I know I'm supposed to stand on my word. That made me feel good.
Good.
So you're being accountable to the fact that you let Marty know that hey, you got the video. So now Marty can move on with his day thinking, shit, did that little weird son of a bitch get the video or not? Now he knows he can go about his day.
And me and Marty had a little moment over the video yesterday. He sent me the video, and we shared some moment over the words. We shared some goosebump. We shared a little bit of emotion. And Nation, we're going to share it with you guys. So Jimmy, let's switch it up. Let's put the video on. I got the vertical, and then we're going to talk about it. So Flinner and Anderson have no idea what the video is about. Just me and Marty do. And the crazy thing is, when Marty shared it with me, it just floored me because you're like, that dude is saying that. And if anybody who, when you watch the video, like, whoa, okay, I get it. And I'm telling you, if you're starting your day with us, if this video doesn't give you a purpose to get going today, if this video doesn't make you think about accountability, then Marty, somebody has to go find a pulse and or go find another channel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Actually, so let's put the video on here, Jimmy. Let's tune into this. All right, let's check it out. Jimmy, I got the vertical. All right, let's do it.
Purpose to me, and purpose to me is
That's OD. That's fine.
There we go. We have John Cena, one of the greatest WWE wrestlers of all time. No debate. True story. 100%. He's right there with The Rock and all the greats, of course. But Marty, when you saw that video, so I'm going to go around the table here. Marty, when you saw that video, something struck a chord in you to say, oh, man, we got to share that with Business Athlete Nation. I got to share that with Bilous. Let's talk about it. And I thought it was so timely to talk about accountability today and to weave that back to purpose. So, Marty, starting with you, brother, and then moving over to you, Anderson. Marty, what did you think of that video when you saw it, pal?
Well, we kind of talked about it yesterday, so that's what made me think about it. You know, when I talked about the small wins are big wins, and that aligns with your purpose.
Yes.
And so, you know, he kind of was saying the same thing where did he earn, you know, relaxing and watching the sunset? Some days he might not, but that's going to motivate him the next day to get back on his purpose. And that's what it's about. It's the loop, baby. It's the loop.
It is the
loop. No, it's just about getting after it and chasing it every day. And you know, you're not gonna be perfect, but the ultimate win will come when you have that mindset.
Yes, yeah. Anderson, when you saw the video, what struck you most? Again, and I'm thinking from your perspective, some relatability there because you know you've had a very similar career to what Cena has had. So when you see that, Johnny, what do you hear?
Well, I think when it comes down to it, I just love the fact that he's chasing that feeling. He's chasing that feeling he gets when he earns the sunset. I mean, you know, I love to simplify things. When you break your loop down into the most simple format, it's so much easier to execute in a way that A, is going to make you happy. B, you're going to serve yourself, which you're going to serve your loved ones. And when you find this rhythm in your loop, it becomes very satisfying and you become very productive. And it becomes a way of life very easily. It's really, you know, your habits become a system. And now you've got a system of life that really serves you. And when something's serving you, it's going to serve the ones you love.
It serves your purpose. Yeah. Kristina, what did you hear when you saw that video this morning?
I think for me, I go back to a lot of people struggle with, okay, but what's my purpose?
Yeah.
Like, what do I even do with that? And for me, it goes back to a lot of my work with people. For me, I found my purpose in discovering my personal story. So having the ability to look back and see that there were moments throughout my life that almost seemed scripted. They seemed to make no sense at the time of the decisions that I made and how I made them. And then when you look at them as a timeline, you're seeing, oh shit, it's all been kind of leading to these moments that are in my current focus. And I think that's what I guide people to do is then go back to your story. go back to what are the things that you have done, your upbringing, your personality, early, late education, early, late career, and try to find themes in what you have done across that timeline. In there likely lies your purpose somewhere. And that's a great place to start.
Yeah. Good morning, Tangerine. I see you there on the I see you there in the feed. Good morning. Good to have you here this morning. You know what I saw on that show? I saw in that clip. I saw a lot of myself in that. And what I mean by that is I saw this whole reminder of this is my purpose these days. I wake up every single day working on creating the biggest morning show on the planet. I wake up every single day hoping to help people achieve their biggest goals. I get so excited when I go to bed at night, waking up this morning for what we do here. Regardless if one person shows up or 1,000 people show up or 3,000 people show up, I am loving my purpose right now. And I had a meeting with Kristina yesterday. We were doing some work together, and silently we were just doing our thing. And quietly out of the blue, she's like, there's something really weird about the fact that you're kind of good at this. Like you're this DJ person in front of the camera and the radio. It's like you were born to do this. I'm like, I don't know, man. I just love doing it. I am a big fan. And I wake up every single day like Cena going, yesterday I felt like I was put on the planet to build one of the world's biggest social media management companies. But ever since I've met Marty and John and Kristina and got the show on place, this is my purpose. This is my purpose, and I'm loving it. And I love that was a reminder from John Cena.
And it wasn't an accident, because you then told me a story of how you were a kid that you were like, yeah, I've always wanted to be on radio. And you and I have worked on story together, and you never told me this. And you said, I always wanted to work on radio. When I would go to bed at night, I had my radio, which makes me think you were born in the 1920s. And my parents made me they made me turn it off. So I would listen to it under my pillow. I would listen to the Winnipeg Jets game, the play-by-play and the color commentary each night. Like that to me is like, this isn't a mistake that you're really good at this. There was something identified in you early that spoke to you, and now it's coming full circle.
And we're having some fun with it. And we have somebody sitting in the green room who is a child actor. Johnny, you got a quick comment there, brother?
Yeah, I was just going to say that I think, this one thing in terms of helping people understand purpose, we start off searching for our purpose. What are we good at? What do we excel at? What can we develop? And we serve ourselves as we become this really good, whatever the thing is. And then like using yourself as a perfect example, Keith, you basically, you made this company, you sold it for $50 million, boom, right? You were serving yourself, the ones you love. And then all of a sudden, now you've taken this and you've started literally to start serve others. And what I'm getting at is that in someone's journey finding their purpose, they get so good at what they're doing, they realize, okay, it's not just for me anymore. I got to give this to the world. And you see that when someone really gets to that certain point, they start to give their purpose back. And that is more satisfying than we're actually developing whatever skill or whatever the thing is that's your purpose. And it's when you see people hit that point where they start to give back, it even becomes more satisfying. And that's what I want people to understand. There's a whole nother dimension to this thing. And it's pretty freaking amazing once you hit that point and you start giving it back.
It's true. And it's linked to accountability. And we got something waiting in the green room for us. Will Greenblatt coming up here in less than 2 minutes. But Jimmy, let's get the accountability check in. And hey, if you are liking what you're hearing so far, I invite you to drop a comment in the feed. Subscribe to the channel. Yeah, what are you doing to hold yourself accountable? Because I'm going to tell you something right now, you guys. Your accountability partner, yep, they're useless. True story. No, actually, true fucking story. Yeah, they're useless unless you do the work. Marty and John and Kristina and Keith are going to give you all the things you got to do, but if you're not going to do the work, it's pointless. So if you're relying on Marty or John or Keith to do the work for you, to carry the load, to carry your basket, to carry your backpack up the mountain, you've already lost. Yep. They're not here to save you. Nope. They're here to reflect upon your potential. Yeah, they're here to help you look towards the future, to show you those blind spots that I know are in your life. But here's what they can't do. They can't take the next step for you. No, that's on you. It's only on you, actually. So let's talk about what a real accountability partner does for you. They give the feedback. They hold you accountable, but they don't give you the effort. No, the effort comes from you. So I'm going to invite you. Don't confuse honesty with handholding. No, they can tell you the truth, but only you can act on that truth. They challenge you to reflect. They'll point out what you don't want to admit, but it's up to you, business athlete, to do the hard work. They're going to help you stay focused. Yep, that's what that accountability partner does. because even the best of us need a kick in the ass sometimes. Yeah, the bottom line, your accountability partner, nope, they're not there to hold your hand. They're not there to hold you accountable to your goals. No, they're there to make you hold yourself accountable to yourself. Yes, when the going gets tough, more importantly, when the shit gets tough, and you need that extra push when you're stuck, you need the extra push over the hump. That's the point of the accountability partner. So listen, when you sit back today and you ask yourself, what's that one goal you want to stay accountable to this week? Let me know in the comments, because you know what? We wake up every single day helping you achieve those big ass goals, because we're all in this together. All right, Jimmy, let's do it. Let's bring in our guest for center stage. Today we are joined by the incomparable, I'm thinking he's the incomparable Will Greenblatt. Yeah, former child actor. No, we're not talking Gary Coleman child actors. No, we're talking child actor turned public speaking coach. I know Johnny, you'd get a laugh out of that one. Who helps entrepreneurs find their voice and grow their business. Will's helped over 4,500 people. Yeah, 4,500. Just think around that. Raised more than $300 million through storytelling and pitching. Mr. Greenblatt, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you for having me. It's so nice to be here with you guys.
We are happy to have
you.
What's up, Will?
Good to be here with you guys.
So listen, guys, Will has an incredible story. He started acting in film and TV at the age of 7. That's 7. And is now transformed into one of the top public speaking coaches for entrepreneurs. So whether you're pitching to investors or leading a team, Will knows how to help you find your voice. Working with over 4,500 folks, he's helped them build confidence, secure investment through storytelling. Will, my friend, what's shaking, man? I'm happy to have you here. What's going on today, buddy?
I'm doing great. I'm always up at this hour because I have a 2-year-old. So even though I'm not at my best, I'm up anyways. So I wish I could say it's because of my own intrinsic motivation, but she gets me up no matter whether I want to or not. But it's nice to have a little built-in alarm clock.
Yes.
You know. And so, yeah, I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Awesome. We're doing great. Well, we are talking accountability partners here today, Will. And clearly you have a 2-year-old accountability partner that keeps you accountable to your goals, which is your life, right? So it's like, hey, Dad, I got to get up, man. It's time to rock and roll.
Can't press snooze on her.
Yeah, no, you sure can. I try. As hard as I try, she won't go back to bed.
No built-in snooze button on a child. No.
That's it. So, Will, you've worked with a lot of entrepreneurs who are brilliant at their craft, but they freeze up when it comes to speaking in public. How do you help these guys, these women, these humans, everybody? How do you help them break through that barrier? And what role does accountability, you as an accountability partner, play in that transformation? Will Greenblatt.
I think that the biggest thing with working as a coach, as I think all you guys know, is a huge part of that is the accountability piece, is to go, okay, I can give you information, but information is abundant nowadays. You can find it on YouTube. You can go to Khan Academy. You can find all of the information is out there. What I'm trying to do is say, here's the exercises that I recommend. Now, did you do them today? Did you do them this week? And like an athlete, which is why I was so excited to come on with you, because I make this parallel all the time. You have to train your body to do this stuff. Speaking is a physical act. It's not a mental one. You have to create a mind-muscle connection from your brain to your mouth muscles, to your chest muscles, to your arm muscles, to your leg muscles, to your core, all of that stuff. There's motor patterns, there's kinetic chains, and that takes a shit ton of repetition, in different ways. And you have to prepare yourself for the variety, for things going wrong. So if you're just like, okay, I should articulate my consonants better so that my words hit harder. Great. Did you practice that?
Yeah.
Or are you just, do you know that you should do that? And then you get up on stage and all of a sudden your mouth doesn't do what you want it to because you didn't practice. So I think the biggest thing for accountability is making sure they do the exercises. But I like to go a level deeper, which is you're not going to do anything unless you really understand why and what it's going to mean for your life. So I really try to start with why, as Simon Sinek, the great book that he wrote all about that. It's like, and that's what I lacked in school. My teachers never explained to me why we were doing these weird exercises at theater school. And I would always ask, why are we doing this? And they would yell at me. They'd be like, just fucking do the work. And I was like, but I don't know if this is going to help me. And I don't know how. So why would I do this until you've convinced me that this is valuable? And so I always had that attitude. And then I got in a lot of trouble for it. So when I started coaching and teaching, I was like, I'm not going to make my students wonder why we're doing exercises. I'm going to explain it to them. and make sure they understand the value of these exercises. And the best coaches and teachers I see always do that. They start with why, and they say, we're doing this because it's going to help you. So this is a tongue twister. It looks ridiculous. It sounds really fucking stupid. But if you do this 5 to 10 times a day in the morning before your first Zoom call, you'll notice people start nodding a little bit more to what you're saying. You'll notice people are getting more engaged. If you start practicing by raising your eyebrows when you speak, you'll notice people start nodding along with you and asking you more questions and being engaged, because we have mirror neurons. And if you raise your eyebrows, other people are sitting there going, oh, this must be interesting. You know, there's all these explanations for why these exercises are useful. And so that's what I try to bring in first before the like, okay, do it because your coach said so.
Johnny, I see you nodding there, leaning in when he's talking about the why. You have clients come to you, Johnny, and ask you why, and are you just like, do you take the time to explain the why, or are you like, listen, trust me, I've been doing this for 500 decades, just do it?
No, I completely agree. In the fact that when someone understands why they're doing something, it's a whole different deal. 100%. I mean, even when I get the CEO that says, look, I don't care why, I just need this result. I'm gonna give you the result, but I'm gonna give it to you faster when you listen for a few minutes here. I'll make this short and sweet, but you got to pay attention. You got to take those notes, because you write this shit down, you're going to remember it. And then if you understand it, why gives it to you faster, is that part of your formula? Yes, it is. Well, then shut up and let's go.
Well, some people think that public speaking isn't necessary. Like, yeah, you know, I got it. Go, Marty.
You got to cut me loose, man. I'm jumping over here, man. I'm squirming in the chair, Keith.
Right? I love it.
So I have the same issue with clients. They always ask me, and I always give them I got to give them a scientific breakdown when it comes to nutrition or, you know, protein, whatever. So I feel you on that. And I just wanted to add, Will, I understand, because when I played basketball, I used to get in trouble all the time. And I would ask my coaches why, and they would get pissed off. They would get pissed. I always got in trouble for that. I mean, it's kind of why I am the way I am now. But I totally agree with you. So that makes me a better coach now. So I'm with you 100%, Will.
Well, it's funny how you said that, because I was about to ask you both the power of the why. And is why, as a coach, looking at all three of you, is why the secret question we need to be explaining to our clients, right? Is it that magic button that as a coach or as a mentor or as a leader, we often forget about, which is giving somebody the why? Sometimes the person might not even know they need the why to get moving. It goes back to even our conversation with John Cena earlier about purpose. But Will, come back to you. Is why the magic question?
It is, especially because they need to also inspire that in their audience.
Yes.
So I do a funny thing, because I speak to help other people speak. So it's a funny thing. I have to, and I mean, you guys probably do this as fitness coaches as well. It's like, if you can't do the exercise, they're not going to listen to you. You know, like, you have to show and prove that.
Bingo.
You've got what it takes.
Walk the walk, baby.
Thank you.
Exactly. When I'm speaking, if I'm in a group workshop, if I'm doing a keynote, like on stage in front of hundreds of people, like, if I suck, then why would anybody want to work with me? So I have to demonstrate that I'm doing it. And part of that demonstration is I have to start with my why, the why for them, because they're going to need to do that for their audiences when they get up on stage. If they can't trigger the why inspiration for their audiences, then they won't get the same engagement. So I think coaching, teaching, public speaking, they're all the same. I mean, you asked about the purpose of it, the necessity of it. It's about convincing people. It's about persuading people. And it's about creating human connection with other people. And what could be more important than that? Mm-hmm. Like, what could be more important for our happiness, for our health, for our longevity, for business success, for personal relationships? They're really, to me, obviously I'm biased, but I really don't think there's anything more important than being able to create human connection, both one-on-one, but at scale as well. For your personal brand, for any shit that you're trying to get done in the world, you need people on board and you need people to be excited. And so I think the why is usually what triggers the excitement, and then the excitement will trigger action, which obviously is what you want.
Yeah, the magic word is why. And if you're loving what Will is saying and what Marty and John are saying, I invite you to hit that like button and tell us in the comments, what's your biggest fear when it comes to public speaking? And if you're ready to level up your pitch, you want to get your pitch better, you want to get better at doing what you're doing, I invite you to connect with Will over on LinkedIn. He's the guy you need to talk to. And Will, we got Tangerine, who's apparently seen all your movies. She's like, hey, I've seen all of Will's movies. So that's awesome. Or Tangerine, I appreciate joining us here this morning on the show. I see you, Denisa. I see you, Kaylin. I see everybody here on the show this morning. I feel like I'm doing romper room this morning, Kristina. So listen, stick around. Will's going to come back later for Deep Dive, where we're going to get into more about accountability partners, how it's helped shape Will's career. And we're going to continue digging into the conversation with Will Greenblatt in the Deep Dive. But before we do that, we got a segment we call the Seamarty Fit Tip. Christopher Martin, Seamarty Fit, has got something for you guys I think you want to pay attention to. Marty, what do you got for him, pal?
Got some good stuff today, man.
Yes.
Yeah, get off the screen, Keith. All right, we got today we're going to talk about knee pain and how you need to handle it and what you need to do when you experience it. So the first thing you're going to hear from people is stay off it. I don't know why, but that's probably the worst advice you can get, all right? But the problem with it is the inactivity can definitely make things worse. When you stop moving, the muscles around your knee get weak. They get weaker and weaker. So this is going to reduce the stability and it's going to increase the pain, right? So usually you'll come back stronger when you start moving these muscles, all right? And what else you should do is strengthen them, lift weights, do squats, do deadlifts or form a deadlift, RDLs, do things of that nature to strengthen the muscles around, right? You can do some low impact exercises. You can do leg raises. You can do glute bridges, but you got to get the blood flowing there and you got to get the muscles moving. Okay. The stronger the muscles are, it means the more support you have for your knee. Focus on your mobility, stretching, dynamic stretches, static stretching, right? This is going to help improve the range of motion. Also do some foam rolling because you probably got all types of tight muscles and knots around those muscles around your knee. Listen to your body, right? You don't have to push through the pain. It shouldn't be excruciating pain, but you do need to move. You got to do something, and you should not be avoiding all movement. That's probably the worst thing you can do. So modify your workouts. Keep moving. Movement is going to be your medicine. Strength and flexibility are going to be your best allies in keeping your knee pain-free. That's the fitness tip for today.
All right, there's the fit tip of the day every day at 8:30 Eastern time with Seamarty Fit, Christopher Martin. As Fit Presenter said, the worst thing you can do is not move. And hey, if you tune in this show every single morning, Marty's going to give you a reason to get moving. So, all right, let's get to the deep dive. Little sound effect here this morning. We're going to continue today's theme of accountability partners and how they can change your life and how they can change your goals. Will Greenblatt is back. Will Greenblatt is back.
Come on, man.
That's how everybody always hears my name, because they hear the green and they just assume that the next is a color. So they're like, your name is Greenblatt. Wow. Double color name.
Well, we talked earlier about how accountability partners will change the game. We talked how the show kicked off with purpose and so forth, but let's get deeper. Let's talk about how accountability partner specifically may have helped shape your life, your career, child actor, working your way through life. Well, what kind of strategies would you recommend for entrepreneurs, or what kind of strategies would you recommend for others that are looking to work with an accountability partner, or what do you look for when you're working with somebody who's looking for accountability? Will?
Well, first I want to shout out my friend Cam Bedouin, who makes demo reels for speakers. He made mine, and then he brought me to this event that came here recently. I don't know if you guys know the Next Level Speakers Academy with E.T. the hip hop preacher, Dr. Eric Thomas, and Jeremy Anderson is another one. And yeah, amazing event. Anyways, Cam brought me, and then afterwards they kept talking about, you know, the importance of accountability partners, and he and I just looked at each other like, why don't we just do this for each other? So nice. Cam and I every Friday to look over the week. And what we're both building right now, he's building a community on School to teach speakers how to make demo reels. I'm building my community on School to teach entrepreneurs, specifically solopreneurs, how to speak with more confidence and clarity about their purpose. So we are checking in, and we're both working on this very specific thing, which is building a School community. So as an accountability partner, to be focused on a really similar task is really helpful, because you can keep each other accountable, but it's also like, hey man, I ran into this problem. I was trying to like upload this payment thing to, you know, do you know how to get around that? And so that's just kind of really, really nice added bonus for us both to be working on the same kind of project. And if you'll allow me, I want to go back too, because I had a piece of advice in theater school that truly changed my life, and I want to share it because I found it so helpful. my dad was an actor. That's how I got into this. And he was responsible for a show called Two Pianos, Four Hands. I don't know if you guys ever heard it, but I think it's still the most successful Canadian theater production of all time. And his partner on that show was called Ted Dykstra, who came and worked with us at theater school in third year. So he knew me. He already knew me because he watched me grow up.
I had to crack a joke there, Will.
Sorry, I didn't hear it. What was it? The crickets?
Yeah.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah.
Okay, so this guy knows me since I'm a kid. He sees me at theater school. I'm missing rehearsals because I think I'm the shit. I think I'm so good. I don't need to be on time. I don't need to prepare. So I get in and I'm underprepared and I'm late. And he looked at me and he's like, fuck, let's stop the rehearsal for a second. You want to be the guy who's good without even trying. But think how great you could be if you did try. And it hit me like a fucking like spear in the chest. And I was like, oh my God, A, he's right. B, I'm a piece of shit, like going through all that, But it really gave me permission to start to work and develop a work ethic. And so to this day, I still procrastinate. I still find myself like not wanting to do the work, but I always think back to that of going like, it's not cool to be good without trying. I used to think so. I used to think the worst thing you could be called was a try-hard. That's what, kids used to say at high school. It's like, oh, you're a try-hard. Look at you working. Look at you doing homework. Look at you like practicing, after the game's over. Look at you showing up early to practice. And so that all those negative messages about actually trying hard seeped into me. But to this day, I go back to that piece of advice. I'm like, okay, if I want to be good at something, there's no shame in really putting the work in. In fact, that's where all the praise should go, not to natural talent.
You know what's crazy, Will, about your comment? Marty, you talk about Kobe all the time, or LeBron. Could you imagine if somebody was calling out Kobe for being a tryhard? Oh yeah, you try hard, you're shooting hoops, you're shooting. Like seriously, right, Marty? Like when we reflect upon greatness, it's one thing to hear Will say that, somebody calling him out saying, yeah, what are you, a try hard? And I'm thinking about that because Johnny, you as a father, me as a father, sometimes we look at our kids, and me as even a kid, sometimes going, geez, Keith, if you would have worked for that, you would have got an A. You just showed up and you got a C, right? And that's what I'm hearing Will say, right? And I can't. So we talk about doing the boring activities to have success. Well, that's just trying hard, isn't it, Will?
Yeah, and people don't want to admit they work with me because I'm a speaking coach. They think there's something wrong with it. It's really? So funny. Yeah, it's really interesting. People think public speaking is the only thing people expect you to be good at without any training or practice.
Wow.
But real quick, isn't it like one of the number one most feared things in the general public?
Yeah.
But then at the same time, okay, it's the most feared thing, but I'm going to be really good and I don't have to try. What kind of sense does that make?
I think people think because everybody speaks that everybody can speak.
Of
and
course.
So, but that's like saying just because you can walk, you can play soccer.
Well, I guess that's the thing of being an actor, right? Will, because like I can be, I'm just going to use rhetoric. I can be an actor, but yet Will, who's been trained in acting, you're like, well, no, just because you can stand in front of a camera doesn't mean you're an actor. Like there's a skill set involved, right, Will?
It's true, but it is true that any idiot can just stand there and say things, and the camera can film
Marty,
them.
we have an opportunity in our life.
Yep. Do you know what I mean? So it's like you can literally like you can't play a trumpet unless you learn how, but you can get up on a stage and speak. So I think people have this idea that it's like, oh, you're born with it, or you're not, and yeah, you can kind of do it, and being kind of okay is good enough. And I think that's why we're used to so many boring ass presentations and pitches and on stage speakers, is because the standard is so low because no one knows how to fucking train it. No one knows how to get better at it. No one knows how to help other people get better at it. The advice is always so surface level.
And you find that everywhere. You find it, people think, well, shit, I can go into the vitamin shop and buy a can of protein. I can get in shape now. No.
Yeah.
It's like, just because you can do one of 1,000 tasks that needs to be done just right and it's got to fit together, just because you got one of them doesn't mean you got anything. But it's that we're in the age of, oh, well, I can go do this and now I'm good to go. No, that's just, you just fell into that marketing trap, and they just took your money, and that protein is not going to do anything probably but sit on your shelf. So think again.
I'm just going to get my boyfriend to train me instead. Okay.
Yeah.
Have fun with that.
Yeah. Hey, Will, drop some real truth here. Just straight up. Some people think they don't need a coach or they don't need an accountability partner. What do you say to that person? So black and white, are you saying good luck, you're not going to succeed? Or are you saying, good luck and try, call me later? Like, Will, like, true story, man. Like, what's the black and white truth on that?
I would say probably anybody can do it in any way, right? Like, you see videos of people who are like, you know, like, who's that dude who plays basketball? I think he's from, I can't remember what country he's from in Africa, but he's like sets up all these crazy weights on his shoulder. And he's like, he jerry rigs all the different stuff. And he's like getting all the attention of the NBA now. And he just like, he's done it all himself. It's like, this guy is literally DIY, you know? And so there are different formulas. I just feel like you got to understand psychology if you want to like do well at this stuff. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to understand how people think, and you've got to turn that attention on yourself. So I know for me personally, I will not do as much unless I have people to be accountable to. I've been a solopreneur for a long time, and I know how productive I am when I have people who are going to check on my progress versus when I'm not. So that I just know myself. I know I really, really need an accountability partner. And if you don't feel like you do, great, do your thing however you want. But if you feel like you wish you could get more done, might be something to explore.
Well, and that's what this show has become for me, right? When I hang out with Marty and John and Kristina every morning, I know that when the show's over, 22 hours later, I got to hang out with these folks, and we're going to jest, we're going to talk, and we're going to get on camera and encourage all of our audience to do the things that we should be doing. Because if I'm going to tell everybody what they should be doing and I'm not going to do it myself, it's like, okay, well, then who are you? Right. So this has been the ultimate accountability platform for me. And one thing that I offered up, as we talked at the beginning there, Will, is that when you have an accountability partner, there's a 65% chance, likely you're going to achieve your goal. But you start stating that goal publicly in front of human beings. So we'll talk about the power of stating something publicly and then having an accountability partner help you achieve that.
Yeah, I also think about that on social media, because I quit drinking like a month and a half ago, and I posted about it. I know everybody does I'm quitting alcohol post, but here's mine and here's why. And honestly, the outpouring of like support and people reaching out to me in the DMs being like, hey, I used to be an alcoholic and it really fucked up my life, and now I'm sober and I'm so happy. Like, it really touches people, even though for me it wasn't like a huge, I need to get off booze, otherwise I'm going to destroy my life. It was just like, I'm just sick of feeling shitty, during the week. So and this is an easy thing to remove, to have more energy, more mental clarity, get better workouts at the gym, all that stuff. But knowing that I told a bunch of people in my LinkedIn audience that I'm doing this, if I were to flop, I would feel extra worse. And so now when I'm at a bar and I see a frosty pint being carried past me, I'm like, shit, that looks really good. I have that extra motivation to be like, well, I don't want to look like a liar in front of a bunch of people. So,
well, and what just happened here, Will, right? It's now October 16th, 2024, and you've just taken the last 90 seconds of your time to publicly articulate that you have stopped drinking. So you now have Business Athlete Nation knocking on Will's door saying, good job, brother. We're holding you accountable.
Yes, they're going to come for me if I fuck up.
Yeah, and it's not about not doing it. It's just a matter of, well, maybe I'm not choosing not to, right? So, but John and Marty, I want to come to you guys with this pointed question as we kind of create this bite here. Marty, can somebody achieve their ultimate goals without an accountability partner? Yes or no?
If you're not ready, I'm on this one, baby. Go ahead.
I say no, because technically you're your accountability partner.
Mm-hmm. Bam.
So you're always going to have one. You're always going to have one. And I think that's a necessary skill that people don't talk about. Mm-hmm. You got to learn how to hold yourself accountable. You can't just expect someone to hold your hand all the time. So, Yep.
Yes.
Johnny, what do you, brother?
Well, and I totally agree with everything that's being said, but I think there's so many elements within this that I think the more people understand, the better. Using myself as a perfect example. If I keep myself in a position where I'm growing, where I'm improving, my interest is high enough, it is so easy for me to be accountable to myself. If somehow I get into a position where I become bored with what I'm doing, I somehow lose that growth factor in my journey, that's when it gets difficult. So people that are bored, that are not really feel like they're growing and changing, it's boring. And if it's boring, it's difficult. It's extra hard. I mean, some of the most difficult mornings I ever have is when I don't feel inspired in my journey. So think about that. Find a way to keep yourself inspired. And in many cases, that means that you're learning. It means that you're constantly, gathering information to grow as a person or whatever it is your goal is. So just factor that into the equation.
Yes. Well, Will, John, Marty, I like subliminally, I find myself being held accountable by you guys because I know when the show's over, John's going to work and so is Marty. And I know if I show up tomorrow and I'm not putting in the work, I'm behind them. So it's like being on a team, isn't it right? It's like being on a basketball team, Marty. When you go to practice, you're looking at your colleague going, well, fuck, he's not putting in the work. Or you're thinking about the off season. You're going, okay, well, Bilous is at home today right now. He better not be sitting on his ass being a lazy soul. He's got to be putting in the work. Right. So this has been a wonderful piece of accountability for me by doing the show here. So Tangerine pops in and says, every time I'm here, I'm inspired and motivated to move and do things and learn from here every day. There's always words to ponder and absorb. So I thank you, Tangerine. And Rick, of course, our Rick is always joining us this morning. Good to see you, Rick. As a former teacher, I noticed that when I checked my students' homework, they did it. And when I stopped checking, they stopped doing it. Accountability is magic. And Tangerine
That's the oldest trick in the book right there.
It is. Yeah. Will says, I'll be following your page and channels from now on. And I have a friend who always said, inspect what you expect. Right. So if you're expecting something, go back and take some time later on to inspect that. So listen, the takeaway here is simple, nation. Having someone hold you accountable keeps you on track and keeps you focused. It's about showing up even when you don't feel like it. You're rolling over, you think, I don't want to do it, man. I don't want to do it. But Will's doing it. I got to do it. So Will Greenblatt, thanks for joining us here this morning and sharing those insights. And for those that are listening and feeling like they could use some help finding their voice or improving their public speaking, you know who to talk to. You got accountability partner in Will Greenblatt. But Will, before we wrap up, how can Business Athlete Nation connect with you and learn more from Will and what you can offer? And I got to tell you right now, man, Marty, John, we're going to have Will back because I can see his energy, I can feel his energy, and I can know we can talk much longer about this. But until that time, Will, how can Nation connect with you and how can they learn more about what you offer, Will Greenblatt?
So I just launched my community yesterday. We had our launch event, which was fantastic. So if people want to check out Speaking Heroes, it's the community for solopreneurs looking to become confident and clear communicators. I'll drop that in the chat if that's cool, and maybe we can put it in the show links. And then also my LinkedIn is the best place to get in touch with me, where you can also find my weekly newsletter, which I do for one kind of essay deep dive on a public speaking, communication, and storytelling topic each week.
Awesome. Will, thanks for coming in, pal. We'll see you again here.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Will.
Absolutely. We got Shelly Spence coming in this morning. Good to see you, Shelly. We got Fit Presenter saying, Fitsing, I'd be sleeping if not for you, troublemakers. Yes, Mike, we love having you on this morning. And we have Tangerine saying, expect what you expect. And Will, Tangerine saying, you got to come back here. And again, of course, I got my lovely Lauren saying, if you're not accountable to yourself first and foremost, you are going to fall off with time. And there's absolutely nothing but truth with that. But hey, if today's conversation is hitting home, hit that like button. Tell us in the comments who's your accountability partner. And if you need one, come talk to us. Come talk to myself, Marty, John, Kristina. We will help you reach your most audacious goals. But hey, coming up, don't go anywhere. We got this guy, John Anderson.
Come on, baby.
He's going to give you something provocative. Jimmy, let's get him up there, pal.
All right. The lifestyle tip for the day. Think about this when I say it. Most people will train the body. The elite also train the mind. There's so many people that don't understand how these two are kissing cousins. But the part about it is the disobedient one of the two is the mind. So you've got to train the mind so that you can have better control of the body. When you're getting ready to go to the gym, your body is not telling you, hey, I don't want to go to the gym. It's your mind that's telling you, hey, here's the reason you shouldn't go to the gym. Well, how do you start to train your mind? We'll make it simple because I love to make it simple. It's all about taking small steps. You've got to learn to honor your word to yourself. So when you get home tonight, tell yourself on the way home, you're going to go for a 1-minute walk. Hell, maybe that means you park the car and you walk for 30 seconds away from the house. You walk for 30, it's back to the house. But hell, you basically were accountable to your word. If you're going to the gym and you're having a hard time going to the gym, say, okay, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to get out and I'm going to walk for 1 minute at the gym. I'm going to go home. But the bottom line is simple, easy, actionable tasks will start to develop the connection of being accountable to yourself. And once you start to train the mind, everything will change. Because remember, most people will train the body. but the elite also train the mind. Rock and roll.
Oh, I got goosebumps hearing that one. Accountability is not difficult, nation. It's actually not. You just got to do it. And you got to do it again. And then again. And again and again and again and again and again and again and again. Yeah, show up for yourself. As Lauren said, if you can't show up for yourself, who the hell are you showing up for? True fucking story. All right.
I like this song, Keith.
It's a good song, eh? Yeah.
I feel like I'm at Midnight Madness or something.
We're in Ibiza, Marty. Where is that? What it is?
Something like that. Yeah.
All right, coming up, it's time for the protein break, where we break down the best post-workout fuel for muscle repair and growth. Today, we're bringing in our.
Is that the goat?
There she is.
Yes,
She is.
That's the goat. Oh
That's
man,
it.
she's back.
Come on. Yeah.
We have our goat. We got Jory Jansen, the greatest nutrition expert in Canada, North America. I'm thinking aloud here on the Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. She's here to help us. Yeah, true story, guys. She's here to help us through what we should be eating after a workout to speed up recovery. As I was putting together today's topic, I'm sitting here going, okay, John, Jory, Keith, and Marty, what are we eating after we work out? Some people don't eat. Some people eat meat. Some people eat carbs. Some people crush a protein shake. I just want to throw the conversation on the table today. John might have a different point of view. Marty, Jory, let's talk about this idea about after my workout, how can I hold myself accountable to eat something properly? Jory Jansen.
Yeah, I love the accountability talk. And one of the things that I first look at when I'm working with someone is what's their narrative. So what I mean by that is what is their talk? What are they telling themselves? What are they sharing with me? So are you more heavily thoughts? Are you a thinker? Are you a feeler? I'm a feeler and a wants. So I feel deeply and then I want to act right away. So if you're someone like that, then you're probably like that around food too. And so just understand your narrative. How do you share with people? What's your talk? Are you more negative, positive? Not that you're a negative person, but are you someone that looks at risk and really evaluates it? So you're going to think about it. You're going to look at, if I eat this and the outcome. Are you more positive? Glasses half full. Well, you know what? I can do this and I'm going to be okay. And later on, I will get back on the train of where I want to be. So really, what you're going to do depends on your own self-narrative. Once you get that figured out, then you can move to the next steps of, is it a protein? Is it more like smoothie? I like my high protein pancakes. I've been doing that for 20 some years. Everyone that works with me knows about those. So
it's my favorite.
Right. And it's so easy. You don't need any supplements if it's something that you're worried about, because some of the athletes that I work with have to be worried about that. But really figuring out where are you at and then what is the outcome? Are you looking to actually recover because you've got another workout in your day? You need a full balanced recovery snack before the next 24 hours because that matters. Are you working out once a day? And if it's early in the morning, you've got a little more wiggle room, but the uptake of nutrients will happen quicker within that first, window of opportunity within that first hour, right? So really figuring out your self-talk, what's your keeping yourself accountable to your goal. What is the outcome that you're looking for? Are you working out once a day? Are you working out in the morning and you've got to be on for the rest of the day? Are you working out in the evening? Because that's when you can fit it in. So then you're probably not going to eat a big recovery meal. It's going to be a recovery snack.
Talk about nutrition timing.
Yeah.
We do training and you said, my lift is done. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. My lift is done. Should I be eating something right away within the hour or 2 hours? Like talk to me about, and I see Johnny nodding as well. So Jory, hit you first and Johnny come in after that, but talk about that timing window. Like I'm done working out. Is my body saying, feed me right now? Or is my body saying, nah, just take some time and enjoy the rest, Keith?
It's yes to both. And so I like the idea of fueling to some degree afterwards. And my reasoning is that then you have more control for the rest of the day. The longer you wait, then hangry comes in, and then you have less control, especially if you're wants oriented and you're going to react instead of oriented. So I think it's if you can get it within that window of opportunity, even if you have to recover, it's ideal. The nutrient uptake is quicker during that time frame. Protein, yeah, for sure. And again, it depends. Are you, training for your triathlon? A high carbohydrate intake is also going to be important. If you're training just to increase that lean muscle mass, decrease body fat, let's focus on the protein, some carbohydrates that helps with the protein intake as well. But yeah, you have to look at what is it that you're training for, fueling for.
I want to add something. All protein isn't the same, right? There's there's efficient protein that's going to like aid your muscle growth, and there's protein that's really not going to do anything. So I had a client, and I asked her what she having for breakfast after the workout this morning, and she said Greek yogurt, and because it has 15 grams of protein in it. And I told her, like, that's not bad to eat, but you probably want a more sufficient source of protein. You see what I'm trying to say, Jory? After a lift session. So can you expound on that a little bit? How like just because something says protein in it doesn't mean that's all you need. You know, you do need a good amount and probably a more efficient for muscle growth. I was thinking more of like eggs, maybe a source of meat, you know, because she's not like a vegan or anything like that. So
and I say yes, and also I'm going to say yes to your client. And the reason is that, I mean, overall, unless you're like an elite of the elite athlete, not just elite in business, but elite athlete, you're looking at overall energy availability. If you want to get the muscle gain, if you want to get the recovery time quickly, it's going to be energy availability. So that's fancy terminology that the IOC uses for getting the calories you need in your day. At the end of the day, you can eat your protein, but if you're not hitting the calorie mark, you're not going to be as efficient and you're not going to reach your goals as quickly. So, I mean, if we're looking for muscle, we're looking for that amino acid leucine, and you're going to get that from a variety of food products, especially animal proteins, right? It's going to be easy to target that. So the Greek yogurt is a great start. And then what are they going to have within the next couple of hours? Maybe it will be that the eggs or something like that. And that's why we like our high protein pancakes, right? They've got both in there. And so if you can food combination things, then you're likely going to meet a variety of nutrients and hit that. But at least it's still a start. My biggest one is when, especially women, but they're like, well, I hit my collagen. I put my scoop of collagen in. I'm like, collagen has its role, but not necessarily for muscle recovery. We want some other amino acids in there, not just the collagen. So yeah, I agree. We're looking for that higher leucine intake. That's an amino acid, but I think it's still great progress. And then it's also that's how I work. But I do hear what you're saying, and I agree. Yeah.
Johnny, let's hear your point of view, brother.
Well, I think the first thing that I really stress, and if people don't understand, is that window post, and we're talking about this, but I want to make sure it's real clear. The window post training is really, really important. The body has the ability to do more with that food than it does in other times of the day. It's trying to heal. So I was trying to make an analogy. Like if there were, let's just say at your lunch break between 12 and 1 o'clock, there was a blackjack table where you were going to win 80% of the time. Of course, you're going to go use that blackjack table when you're going to win 80% of the time versus at a different time when you're only going to win 40% of the time. And so when you explain it to people that, hey, this is the time, this is the window where you're going to get more success, you're going to get more return for what you're eating, it becomes a little bit easier for them to adhere to that. So, I mean, the first thing that I'm going to have them do is as soon as they're done, like at the gym, they're going to bring some sort of easily digestible protein. And that's just enough to get basically, boom, the stomach's got some nutrient, the body starts to heal, starts the recovery process. Then they start heading for that next meal, and they got to look that window of opportunity has been used, and the body's doing its thing as they head for the next meal. So, but I think what people tend to miss is that it's a big opportunity to get more out of what you're doing when you utilize that 60 minutes post-training.
And quickly, John and Jory, talk about insulin post-workout and why we want to have food to chase insulin response in our body. John, start with you before we go to Jory.
Yeah, so insulin is think about it like this. Insulin's a transport hormone, which means that when insulin goes up, your body has the ability to basically store or transport more nutrients at a faster pace. And so when post-training, when you eat something, especially if you trigger your insulin even a little bit, your body's going to shuttle that nutrient into where it needs to go much, much faster. Now, the problem is that people get over the top of this thing. Oh my goodness, I'm going to use my insulin. Next thing you know, they use their insulin create a bunch of a big belly and a set of man tits. So you got to understand, insulin is probably the most powerful hormone that the body has. And I mean, too much insulin will kill you. It's crazy. I mean, it's like I'll the science behind this goes real deep. I'll let Jory jump in here, but ultimately, when the insulin is triggered post-training, the body's going to be much more efficient at bringing the nutrients where it needs to go.
Yeah. Jory.
Yeah, summed it up. Nice.
You see, Matthew got a question for Jory right there.
I see that. Marty wants to short up there, brother. Quickly.
It says, what is your opinion regarding pre-workout supplements, hydration, and diets?
So
pre-workouts. Get them, Jory. Get them.
Jory, go after it.
Why? No. That's great. I don't find the evidence to support it, other than mentally, right? If that's if your shaker cup is your accountability, and there it is.
There we go.
Love that.
Placebo, baby. Placebo.
Placebo is just as real as anything else, right?
Yes. It works.
I would just, caution in terms of like where you put it. I mean, it's not in a huge expense. However, whatever it is that you want your pre-workout could be something like your pre-workout fueling source. It doesn't have to be a pre-workout beverage that you're buying or powder that you're downing. What's in there? The tingling from the beta alanine feels good. The caffeine can give you that hype for sure. Can feel good, can feel quite the opposite. So it really depends. I would say workout is, if it's your accountability partner, what the heck? It's not doing harm. Why not? I think that the fueling strategy for sure if you're an early morning person, fueling to the max of your potential probably isn't going to happen if you're going to have a quality workout. But timing before, after, it's all anywhere. You can do a Google search, 3 to 4 hours before a workout or exercise for a big meal. Anything an hour or less, you're keeping it very simple carb. You're not going to have much protein, if any, and keeping the fat down because those take longer to break down.
There you go.
Real quick, look, I just want to make one little thing. I mean, what Jory said about, I mentioned placebo. She said it works. I think people understand placebo sometimes takes a negative effect, a negative connotation when, remember, let's just say you snap your fingers and that makes you believe that you can have a good workout. Well, if you believe you can achieve, the man who believes he cannot and the man who believes he can are both correct. So whatever it is that makes you believe you can have a good workout, if it's that pre-workout, as long as you're sleeping at night, rock and roll, baby. That placebo is real. Don't think that that's a negative thing.
Beautiful. All right, we're hanging out with Jory Jansen, the leader of the protein break. And here's the big takeaway today, nation. When you finish your workout, don't forget to fuel up. Yeah, true story. The right post-workout nutrition can make a huge difference in recovery and progress. Good morning, Shinku. I see you there.
What's up,
Whether
Shinku?
it's protein, carbs, hydration, you got to put something in your body. That's just the bottom line. You heard it from Jory. You heard it from John. And put some food in your body. Timing is important. And if you're ready to dial in your post-workout nutrition, hit that like button and let us know in the comments what your go-to recovery meal is. And I love what Jory said. If that shaker cup is your accountability partner to help you get through things, then lean into that. And hey, listen, don't forget to stick around. Hour 2 is coming up next. But before we do that, we're going to invite Kristina Flynn in for the brand bite. Jory, thanks for joining us today. We'll see you on Friday. We're going to continue this journey. We love it. Jory joins us Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 8:45 Eastern time to give you guys nutrition advice to help you through your day and to help you be accountable. There's that word. To achieve the biggest goals in your life. And Tangerine says here, she's like, hey, now I could say if you want a longer life with a healthy lifestyle, you need to be part of this channel. She's right.
Okay.
She's exactly right. All right, Jory, have a great one. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Jory.
On Friday, okay?
See ya.
Thank you, Jory.
Awesome. All right, guys, let's bring the Twitch in. Yeah, we love that sound effect. We got Coach Flynn coming up to do the personal brand bite before we come back for hour 2. And I got something for John and Marty. John, Marty, is sex or running healthier? Coming up, Morning Loop Reloaded. But before that,
Oh, man.
Why can't I talk about his sex or running here?
Well, Flynn's going to be part of that too. So she's got the personal brand by Kristina Flynn.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it, folks. All right. So I want you to do me a favor. I want you to stop searching for purpose outside of yourself. We have all been there. Another new course, another new Ikigai exercise, a values worksheet, a vision statement process that somebody puts you through. Every expert has their version and their special sauce. And they'll all tell you the same thing. You need to be clear on your direction. You need to be clear on your purpose. But if you want, or in order to build a personal brand, but real talk, if these exercises were so good, if they were really that good, why have we done like 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 of them? If they were that good, they should tell you your purpose. I'll tell you why. Because you don't trust yourself. You don't trust the words that you put down on the page for those exercises. You doubt your own vision and you second guess whether it's real or actual purpose. I did the same. Trust me, I did the same over and over and over again until I started using AI as my self-reflection collaborator. AI called out my bullshit. It saw through my biases and it connected the dots for me that I had been missing. And weirdly enough, I trusted the AI outputs way more than I ever trusted my own because it wasn't biased to my experience. It was simply using the words that I had fed it, the inputs I had given it, and giving me insights and analysis based on that. So here's the advice for today. Stop searching for your purpose outside of yourself. Use a tool like AI to see yourself more clearly. It might just help you find a vision statement, a purpose that actually feels authentic to you, not just another exercise to check off the list. Yes, it really is that simple. I have entered my no fucks era, and I promise you, if you give today's brand bite a try, you will be one step closer to entering yours. You got this.
All right, Kristina Flynn, the personal brand bite every day. 8:58. Running a little late today, talking accountability, but hey, we're back with Morning Loop Reloaded. Mornings live with Keith and friends. Keith, John, Marty, producer Flynn. We are reloading the morning show and hitting in the gym coming up in about 12 minutes or so. How to build the biggest back. No, not big backs in the kitchen. No, that's for a different show that Marty talks about in the evenings. No, we're talking about building big backs in the gym. True story. Community Corner, celebrating creators making waves on LinkedIn, coming at the bottom of the hour. And then, of course, business and branding. I'm going to lean into the Business Athlete Manifesto with Flinner, dropping around 8:45 mark. Listen, this one's going to spark some real conversation coming up next year because I got something fun coming up here. And but before we go any further, we got Mike McQuillan saying, I made a mistake yesterday. John Marty, I made a mistake with my trail mix. The raisins digested quickly, and I spent the whole workout burping peanuts. Yeah, Mike's like, the ingredients are not the same. Mike, got to make better choices, pal. All right, we got Tangerine. Tangerine's offering up, Kristina, that you are looking more fresh and gorgeous each day. So Tangerine's offering the love from the Philippines for our friend Kristina. And of course,
I said the same thing before we started the show. I was like, man, Kristina looking good. I dig it. The hair back is sharp. I agree.
There you go. Awesome. Okay, Jimmy, I got a special topic to come in here today, and I'm going to keep everybody on stage here. But listen, I got a big question. I got a big question that I wasn't expecting. I was going to dig into this one today. I was going to talk about it yesterday, but the science is pretty clear. We're going to settle the score. Is it running or is it sex? Which is better for your health? What do we think? John, Marty, Kristina, where do we want to start with this?
I think right out of the gate, I think it depends which one are you applying yourself. Are you applying yourself more to which one? Because if you're going to do something, do it all the way. And if you're doing sex all the way, you're going to get a better workout. If you're running all the way, you're going to get a better workout there. Now, if you're doing either one of these all the way, the brain's going to give you a cascade of positive chemicals. So question is, which activity are you pushing hard enough to get your fix?
Okay, well, let's lean into it. So,
hold on real quick, Keith.
Yeah, go ahead, Marty.
Hold on. Let's get this off the table real quick. All right. I don't care what your science says, Keith. All right. So whatever you're going to say, I don't care. This is my logic. We got a lot of people. Everybody's having sex, regardless of what type of shape they're in. Everybody has sex. Big, small, tall, short, wide. Right? But we don't have a lot of people in shape.
Yes.
There's my logic right there. So I think we know which one's better. But Keith is going to have an article is going to say that sex is better. That's what I'm assuming.
Well, I don't know.
Hold on. It's a quick question though. Wasn't there a study released lately that was talking about at least Americans having less sex than ever before, with everybody being so out of shape, unconfident with social interaction? You know, I believe I don't remember the stats, but I remember there's a far less sex going on now than there was 20 years ago.
That actually supports my argument.
Well, and birth rates are down everywhere as well. So yes, people are eating more Big Macs and having less sex. But here, let's and Tangerine.
What kind of a trade is that? Jesus Christ!
Exactly.
Yeah, this is going to take a turn.
McDonald's marketing has got so fucking good that they can convince people to eat a goddamn hamburger over get laid. Come on,
Keith, just go.
Come on, man.
Don't get me started too. Don't get me and John started. Just do what you got to do, Keith.
According to a Canadian study, sorry, Kristina, but it's a Canadian study. Men,
why you gotta
of
do
course,
us like
of
that?
course,
Why you gotta
of
do us
freaking
like
course.
that?
Tina, men with toques in Canada burn about 276 calories during a 30-minute run, unless you're Keith running on Mondays and Fridays. And Johnny, men burn in Canada, at least Marty, around 101 calories during sex. Now, women, Kristina.
Hold on, was that
not in no 5.7 minutes?
Yeah,
not in no 5.7 minutes.
I was going to say if you would actually if you compare the timeline for the run and getting ass, you're going to be way ahead if you can keep your load long enough to get to that 30-minute timeline. You're going to be much better off humping.
We haven't talked about unloading the clip in advance of this. This study wasn't done with a placebo. We don't know about the study, but here's the thing, Kristina. Now looking at you, women. 213 calories while running. Tangerine, you're running 213, but just 69 calories during having sex. Well, of course, because I'm thinking the man's doing a lot of the work, Johnny.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. That's how I know it's bullshit. Men don't.
No, that's accurate. That's accurate, Tina. That's accurate, Tina. It's accurate, Tina.
Men be starfish. They're just lying there.
That must be in Canada, because the starfishes are in America for the women here. That must be Canadian men.
As the numbers keep going up on the viewers right now. So if you're looking at calorie burn alone, folks, well, Tangerine's doing it right. She's running. She's like, I got partners. I'm going to go for a run. Right. So it's all about running in Tangerine's world. But nation, it's not just about calories, right? We talk macros and micronutrients on this show as well, right? Sex has some serious hidden benefits. It turns out men who have sex twice a week. Oh yeah, Marty, Johnny, for us, brother. Turns out men who have sex twice a week are less likely to develop heart disease than those who only get busy once a month. And for women, being sexually active can actually lower the risk of high blood pressure and improve overall health. And you heard us on the show before. If women are having more sex, they're living longer. So here's the question, though. What about the intensity? Right? A study.
That's what I was saying from the beginning. That's exactly how I opened the segment.
So a study, Johnny, monitoring heart rates showed that walking on a treadmill, and no, Marty, not with holding on with the rails, raised people's heart rates more than sex. So I guess it depends on how intense your cardio is or intense your love life is. But get this.
Where's the effort, baby? That's it. Where's the effort going?
Well,
no effort.
But get this. If you're the kind of runner who's pushing for a marathon, you might be doing more good than harm, actually. Running can strain your heart if you overdo it, while sex is pretty low risk. Yeah, true story. Unless you're engaging in the kind of wild that Johnny Anderson does about, then you're in the 0.6% chance of sudden death. So maybe moderation is key here. So whether you're lacing up your running shoes and going for a run or getting down for business in the bedroom, the reality is that both running and sex releases endorphins, but only sex releases the oxytocin, aka the love hormone. So that ultimately, nation, is the stuff that makes you feel connected to your partner. It helps you reduce your anxiety, boosts the intimacy, Running, on the other hand, Marty, releases cortisol, the stress hormone. So if you're overdoing the running, you could actually be increasing your stress levels and dealing with sleep issues. So sex might win in terms of what's healthier for mental health and relaxation.
There is no might about it. There is no might 100%. About it, for the love of Christ. Jesus Christ, what is wrong with people? I even make that comparison. Here's the thing. What most people, well, I shouldn't say most people, way back when I was running, right? And I was always running for some sort of a time. That last couple of minutes, I'm digging. I'm trying to finish that run hard. Well, if you're playing your sex game like you're playing your run game like that, you're going to have some, I mean, it's like you finish your run, you're looking for the oxygen. Where did it all go? Well, if you're playing your sex game like that too, you're getting, I mean, goodness gracious, you can get all the fun and all the work and all the good chemistry in one place. I mean, listen, come on, there's no comparison here.
That's it. Marty?
I know some people that they can't walk up a flight of steps, but they always having sex. So I just don't think there's a comparison. I'm sorry. Even if you're going hard in sex, I don't think it's like going hard in running. That's me.
So according to the study, I'm going to wrap this up, but I got to ask one last thing. Does size matter in this debate? Because according to Dr. David, the guy who orchestrated the study, the reason men burn more calories during sex, and well, Marty, look at John, is because they're typically bigger in build. So do we need to start sizing up how much everyone's putting in, or is it less about calories and more about quality over quantity when it comes to both running and sex? And let's not forget the immune system benefits here, team. Regular sex can boost immunity, while long distance running can actually weaken it. So you can ask yourself today, what's it going to be? Do we trade in the running shoes for a romp in the hay? That's the question you need to ask yourself today when you hang out with your partner, your accountability partner.
I can tell you one thing. When Terry time comes along, if I said, honey, do you want to run or do you want to hump? I can pretty much guarantee you what she's going to say.
So run.
Run or hump. Nope.
So here's the takeaway, nation. While running might burn more calories, the reality is this. Sex is doing a lot more for your heart, your mood, and your immunity. And as Dr. David from the article says, if you're fitter from running, well, Marty, I'd love to see John running, actually. It can actually lead to better sex, a stronger core, better endurance, and hey, ultimately, better, more intense orgasms. So I think the ultimate question is why choose? Do both.
Yes.
We learn
it.
Yes, and
HIT improves longevity. HIT improves your premature ejaculation. So gentlemen, get up, get your ass out of bed, get to the gym, and go love your wife. Go love your partner. Go love your significant other, and go hit it.
Hit it in a gym. Hit it in the bedroom. Hit it, baby.
You're doing hit all over the place.
That's it.
We some hitters.
All right.
We're hitting, baby. We're hitting.
We're going to move us to the In the Gym segment with John and Marty. We just talked about what it's better to run or go for sex, and how we arrived at the end of the conversation was you got to do both. Yeah, start your morning with your partner, go for a run, and do it again later on in the day. But listen, let's talk about building a bigger back. Marty always talks about building a big back the wrong way. If you tune into the best fitness show happening in the evening in North America, the Seamarty Fit podcast, is going to talk about building a bigger back the wrong way, in the kitchen, at the buffet table. That's not how you build a bigger back. No, we're going to give you some advice right now with John and Marty in the gym, how to build the biggest, strongest back hacks with John and Marty.
How to hit it hard and build that back. Hit it hard, right? Is that what we're talking about?
We're talking back shots with John and Marty in the gym with John and Marty. Get me out of here. Get me out of here, man. Please.
I was about to say something else, but Tina's going to kill me, so I'm not going to say it.
I love it.
All right, John. So let's talk building the back.
We're gonna hit the back. How are we gonna hit the back? Well, I think the number one thing that people tend to realize about the back is a massive muscle. Massive.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
And I think there's a lot of stuff that the back gets a lot of work in a lot of ways that people don't understand. People think about, lat pull downs. They think about rows, and there's nothing wrong with this stuff. This is all good stuff, especially the pull up. The pull up is like one of my favorite ever exercises.
Oh yeah.
But what they tend to not realize is, any variation of a deadlift is also going to work your back.
Yep.
And some of the biggest backs on the planet were made through deadlifting, not through doing lat pull downs, not through doing pull ups. And so, like when I was really clicking in my strength career, what I would do is I would warm up with a couple of failure sets of pull ups. In those days, shit, man,
Yep.
I could, even though I was over 300 pounds, man, I could knock out 35, 45 pull-ups. Now, I wasn't going to failure, but I was just filling that thing up with blood. And then I would go to deadlift after that. And between, because ultimately you've got two different angles. There's one you're pulling down, and then there's a rowing motion. And a deadlift is going to really, really it's more of a static movement. It's because you're not actually rowing when you're deadlifting. It's just supporting all that weight. Yep. And so I guess the main thing I'm getting at here is you got to understand how big the back is and recognize that you can get a lot of back work in other movements. And the reason I bring up the deadlift is so many people avoid it, but they don't understand what they're avoiding.
And then another thing too, anytime you're looking to, target a certain muscle, those compound movements, like a deadlift where you target more muscles, it's going to allow you to pull more weight, which is going to work the muscle even more because you have the capacity to pull more weight on a deadlift opposed to like a lat pull down. So that's actually a good point. And then I'm going to ask you a question too. So let's say, because even like, let's say you work in chest, and I guess the antagonist would be back, but on the way down, your chest is working, but your back is kind of working as well. So the gravity doesn't just pull the weight down and hit your chest. I think that's, I've even felt my back sore on chest days sometimes. Has that ever happened to you as well?
Well, and just so everybody understands what Marty said, totally correct. So when you're doing heavy bench press, the muscle that keeps that bar from falling and hitting you in the stomach or coming back and hitting the rack, the back is what's doing that. The back is what's keeping that bar aligned where you want it to be. So when you're really, really going heavy on a bench press, your back is working. There's no question about it. Like when I'm doing standing overhead press with a bar, my back is working like a mother, man. I get sore as hell. My lats will get really, really sore from a standing overhead press. And
so I brought that. I was just going, before you finish, I was just going to say, I brought that up just to show that even on compound movements on your antagonist, when the back is the antagonist, that's working your back as well. I just wanted to add that in before you finish why I brought it up.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that people tend to not understand about the back is because it's so big, you can work it from so many different angles and so many different ways. And a lot of times people tend to get into the rhythm of doing the same thing over and over when with the back, there's so many things that you can do, so many angles. There's so many different angles of, say, a pull down. There's so many different angles of a row. Constantly change this up because you have this wide array of angles and all of them are going to work. You're silly not to be constantly changing. There are other muscles like, say, the bicep. There's only so many things you can do for that bicep. I mean, you could shorten the range of motion. You could do a few different exercises, but the back is going to get work from so many different positions. Have some fun with it. You should never get bored training your back. And that being said, you can, whether it's, we talked about changing rep ranges, we're talking about doing shit backwards, but with this one, you can literally just pick a bunch of different shit every time and just constantly be changing what you're doing.
No, absolutely, man. And even, you can get real complex with the back, like even on lat pull downs, or if I'm doing, bent over rows, you can switch it to single arm, that single arm lat pull down. Oh my God. So you can get super creative. So you have to, so you definitely have to lift heavy. Talk about rep ranges too. So you lifting heavy. What should the rep range be? And then if you want to get some endurance in there too, you need some endurance, some muscle endurance to build your back as well. So talk about those rep ranges as well.
Absolutely. Well, I think that if you got to understand, if we're going into, say, like the deadlift, right? Because we're promoting the deadlift for the back, you got to be careful going heavy there, because people hurt themselves all the time because they don't know what they're doing. So you want to be selective. You got to look at the kind of a risk assessment. Okay, this is an exercise that people tend to veer away from. Maybe you've been veering away because the bros say it's a dangerous exercise. They just don't know how to do it. So if you're going to try to do that, maybe you're inspired by this conversation. I'm going to go do some deadlifts for my back. Do it cautiously, because you don't have to go really, really heavy to get a lot of work on a deadlift for the back. So I would recommend in those exercises where you don't really understand, just do a higher rep range, a lower weight, and you're going to get a lot of work out of that. With my back training, I'll do everything from as low as a 5 rep to as high as a 30 or 40. I mean, it's just constantly mix it up. And I'll do that in the same workout. I'm a big one on pull-ups to failure. And at that point, I don't know how many reps I'm going to get. I just know if it's in the front of the workout, it's going to be more. Tail end of the workout, it's going to be less. But either way, I got a great workout. So constantly change those rep ranges, constantly change the exercises. And I think the thing about this, which we talk about all the time, enjoy it. Have fun with this. Because if you're having fun with it, you're going to want to do it next time you train your back.
Yeah, and I think you should keep those once you find something you like, you should keep it consistent for a while. Allow your body to respond to it, allow your body to get some results to it from it, and then switch it up. But I think a lot of people, especially you go to a Gold's Gym or a hardcore gym, there's so many machines in there. People just be trying different shit. But no, keep your back workouts consistent. And then, Johnny, talk about working from different planes. All right, so talk about the bent over row, talk about the seated row, talk about the lat pull down or pull up. Talk about the different planes.
All these angles, that may be more digestible for some people that don't understand the word planes, because Marty's talking some level stuff here. But angles, I mean, you can even a lat pull down. If I'm going to do a lat pull down, the first ones I'm going to do, I'm going to sit in there with my feet behind me. So I'm really upright. So it's a straight pull. And it's because you're only activating those lats. You're not as strong, but that's okay. It's not about, I'm not lifted to see how much I can lift. I'm lifted to get that muscle work. Then I might switch it up to where I'll put my feet out in front of me, which is how you see most people do it. I'll lean back a little bit, totally different angle, but it's, again, you're working the back, but you're getting a different angle. It's a different stimulus. It's even good for your mind, because all you did was change your position a little bit. It feels differently. And then people tend to like it because they're stronger when they're leaning back like that. But I mean, angles is everything with back, because it's such a big movement. You got to constantly change those angles. Say for the chest, you got your flat, your decline, and your incline. And realistically, you could work all the angles in between, but it's a smaller muscle, so it's not quite so important. The back is massive. People refer to the back as slabs, because it's slabs of meat on each side of your back. And that big muscle takes, it can. Another thing we should probably mention, Marty, is the back can take a lot of work. The back will take far more work than, say, the tricep, because it's such a big muscle. But at the same time, you don't have to go and try to overdo it. Just get in there, enjoy yourself, constantly rotate the angles, which Marty said, the different planes, and enjoy it.
That's it.
There you go. Enjoy it. And if you are ready to put those big back hacks to the test,
What is this? I invite
you to like the channel, comment, subscribe.
He's a minion.
In the gym with John and Marty every single day at 9:15 Eastern.
Where's Tina?
Gym advice to help you guys achieve the biggest goals in your life. And hey, listen, we're going to wrap it up. Coming up in a few minutes, we got the community corner with myself and Kristina Flynn. We're celebrating a creator, but before we leave, before we keep moving, John and Marty got some commitments to roll on to, but we're going to quickly go around the table and talk about highlights from today's show. Marty, what was your favorite part of today's show, brother? It was a good one today. Another great day of energy, 3 days, just keep rock and roll, man. What was your highlights of today's show there, Marty?
Man, Will was amazing. Definitely very motivational. He dropped some gems. Jory was great. Jory, she gave some really practical advice that people can use and implement it in their lives. And that was just a great segment for me and Johnny, man. Come on, man. You don't get this content anywhere else. Come on, man. It is what it is, man. So,
true.
a great brand bite by Tina, and I love how she always mentions she's in the no fucks era. I love it every day.
Every day, no fucks there.
You know,
Yep.
and let me jump on that too real quick. So because I'm in my house in Mexico now, so my setup is different microphone. I got my earbuds in. So when I come off the stage, I always go take a piss, but I still got these in so I can hear what she's saying the whole time.
Yeah.
Well, in my other house, I take my ears out when I go take a piss so I don't hear what she's saying. And I got to say, Kristina, these things are freaking awesome. I was thinking to myself, Jesus Christ, I'm missing out by not listening to this shit when I take my ears out and take a piss in my lake house in California. So I got to figure out a better way to do this.
I keep mine on when I go pee, man. I keep mine on.
She drops gems.
And I'm blessed.
But mine are hardwired.
Let me tell you. Wow.
Say that again, Kristina.
I'm blessed. I get to go piss with John Anderson and Seamarty Fit. Like, who gets to do that?
We take Tina with us.
Yeah, I know.
That's it.
Them.
Tina, 4 months ago, Tina had no clue she was going to be hanging out with us, and she was going to be pissing with us. She's like, what the hell is going on in my life?
It really is.
So, Kristina, what was your favorite part of today's show before we got to let go of John and Marty here today?
Other than what we just talked about here, listen, Tangerine told me in the comments I was looking more beautiful and gorgeous every day. How could I say anything else was more important than that?
Sometimes I wonder, John and Marty, what Erin looks at Kristina and she's like, what the hell did you do today? I don't even want to tell you, honey. I don't even want to.
She knew what she was getting into. It's been almost a decade of marriage. She knew what she was getting into.
Hey, I want to offer one quick thing before John and Marty go. And I said this to you, Tina, yesterday privately, but I want to say it publicly to Nation and in front of my friends.
If you're going to say something serious, turn off that fucking filter.
All right. So I'm going to say this. I've known Christopher Martin now for, I think, probably coming up close to about a year here. I think we met in December. Yep. And I have been watching Marty show up with me daily on the show. And I said this to Kristina yesterday, and I'm going to say it in front of my friends right now. Chris, Marty, I love every single day, every single week, you continue to show more of yourself, your vulnerability, your humanity. And it is beautiful, man. It is beautiful. I am loving getting to know you in front of this camera and in front of everybody else. Of such a wonderful human being you are. And I'm not trying to blow smoke and brass or put this out there, but I've just thoroughly enjoyed it. So not only been my favorite part of the show, but just favorite part lately, man. You're getting in there, you're throwing your comments, you're throwing your wit, you're throwing your human, you're dropping nuggets left and right. And you're holding me accountable, you're holding Johnny and Kristina accountable. But dude, I just, as the young punk on the panel here, man, I fucking love how you show up every single day. And I'm just loving watching you, for lack of a better term, grow up with us. I know that sounds so goofy, but I just love seeing you come to life, brother. I really do. And I mean that so sincerely.
Thanks.
So
man.
You're basically what you're saying is you love it when Marty pulls his pants down.
That's what he said, John. That's exactly what he said.
That's exactly what
baby.
That's exactly it.
Baby. That's right. When somebody pulls their pants down, we celebrate it. That's right.
So, Marty, that's all you need to know, pal. Johnny just paraphrased it best for me. Here's the soundbite. I just love Marty because he comes to the show and pulls his pants down.
This context is so critical in these conversations, and anyone watching this is not going to understand.
Yeah, they have no context.
We got Harper popping into the comments now. We got Harper popping into the comments with this emoji face. Like, what the hell did I just tune into? So,
and you're not going to find anybody else who comes to the show and pulls their pants down like me and Johnny. We're the best. We're the best puller downers.
There's something very, very liberating about pulling your pants down. It's liberating to pull your pants down.
Coming up next week in the lab, the week of robes, wondering what the hell we're wearing underneath the robes.
Oh my God, I don't know about that one.
So, and then Harper saying, Harper agreed, I just arrived at pants. I started to look at Kristina's face.
Kristina's going to kill us.
I started this show.
She's going to kill us.
By saying that the listener yesterday. I said, what do you like about the show? He's like, Keith, because I never know what the fuck you guys are going to say next. So you say something, and a few seconds later, Marty says something, and then I look on screen and I see full face, and then I see Johnny talking about dropping his pants and showing his pecker. And he's like, I never know what the hell you guys are going to say. That's why I keep tuning in.
He never said showing his pecker. He just
he's spicing up the story here for sure. Goodness gracious. But you know, Keith, when we originally had to talk about me coming on, that was one of the elements that was okay. Look, this show has got it. People got to wonder what's coming next. Yeah, we're getting that job done.
We absolutely are. So I got Harper coming in here. I just arrived at Pants and Context is Prices. If there's one thing that I learned from Flinner is that yes, context is everything. So listen, I know Johnny, buddy, I'm your accountability partner. You're running late. You had to go at 6:30, which was 5 minutes ago. So brother, get the hell out of here. Go to your meeting. I want to hold you accountable to that. We'll see you tomorrow. Okay, pal?
You got it.
All right,
See you tomorrow, guys.
Marty, you too. Pal. We'll talk to you later.
Yeah, I'll talk to you later. All right.
Okay, sounds good, brother.
Yep.
Oh, Flynn just left with you, me, and producer Jimmy hanging out with us.
Y'all just do that, and now I'm left with you. I've been abandoned by my
you know what my lovely bride has to live with on a daily basis, right? So, but listen, all right, it's now.
You say with Aaron.
Yes.
Lord.
All right, so now it's time for the Community Corner segment where we celebrate the amazing creators that are making an impact in their communities. And the community that we've been focusing on a lot as we've been building up this platform has been LinkedIn. And yes, we have every intention of spending time celebrating creators on X, on YouTube, on Threads, on Instagram, on Substack. But right now, all of our effort has frankly been spending it on LinkedIn. And today we have somebody who stands out on LinkedIn and somebody who I've been following on the platform for over a year. And Kristina, when you put this person on the feed here this morning, I didn't know she was coming. I was like, yes, good choice. I'm excited about this one. And I've seen the work she's been putting in. I think a similar. Well, obviously we're not similar. She's female, I'm male, but she's been through divorce. She has young children. She's ran an agency, been in the agency world. I've been through divorce. I got 3 children. So there's some similarities there, but I've really enjoyed watching her journey, Kristina. So when you put her up here today, I'm like, yes, great choice for today's Creator Spotlight. I know this person shows up every single day. She's been in the fitness world, the bodybuilding world as well. I think Kristina, right? So she's that business athlete herself, but listen, let's talk about her. A 2-time founder, 3-time CMO, leading voice in personal growth and brand building for founders, creators, and marketers. She's pioneered wellness innovation. She's the founder of, Kristina, I got to tell it right now. She's going to know. She's the founder of a wellness brand empowering. That was my Japanese anime there. She's the founder of and a wellness brand empowering women to manage sleep, stress, and intimacy, which she built during the pandemic and later sold. Congratulations. She's a brand growth expertise, former head of brand at leveraging deep expertise in the wedding industry, marketing, and business strategy. She has an inspiring personal journey, a single mom of 3. She's juggled entrepreneurship, homeschooling, and personal challenges, redefining ambition without burnout. She has an incredible newsletter, which I've watched grow, which has been really exciting to watch happen. She's the creator of the newsletter, inspiring over 150,000 weekly with actionable insights on intentional living and sustainable success. Today, I'm going to pivot my camera over here. Today's Creator Spotlight for Mornings in the Lab on the 16th of October. Jimmy, today's Creator Spotlight for Mornings in the Lab on October 16th is... Amanda Getz.
Hey.
Amanda Getz, we are surprising you and celebrating you today. I know I've been knocking on your door trying to get you on the show, and maybe this will get you on the show, Kristina. We're like, hey, we got to get Amanda on the show. I think she's got some energy.
Either way, I'm just excited to highlight her and the shit she's doing.
I agree. But what I'm suspecting, she has nuggets of knowledge that I know our community would love to hear from Amanda. But hey, that aside, let's take some time to celebrate her. And Kristina, why don't you highlight why we are celebrating Amanda Getz for today's Creator Spotlight for Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends? Kristina.
Yeah, well, like you, I've been following Amanda for quite some time, since my days as a tech founder. She's been such an inspiration. She gets shit done. She talks about all of the good and the bad, which I really love about her. She talks about her personal story a lot, and she teaches you a lot of the lessons that she has learned. She's actually showing parents, and we've been able to watch her journey along the way of getting to that blended lifestyle. I don't like saying balance. I like to say blended lifestyle. Like, how can you have 3 kids like she does and build businesses and build brand and do it successfully? How can you acknowledge the fact that every day is not going to be the same? Every day is not going to be easy, and still show up and, like we've talked about today, be accountable. I think her perspective is really, really interesting, which is a key part for anyone building a brand. It's not just what you say, it's a unique perspective that you bring to the table. And it's just been really fun to watch her growth. I've learned a lot from her. She's very, very inspiring to me and many other folks. And I thought that she just deserved like a really big congratulations for being able to do that, because it's not easy. It's a hard game, and she's doing it really well.
You know what I find about Amanda when I watch her content, Kristina, is that I've never met Amanda just through the comments on LinkedIn. It appears to me that she practices what she preaches. And what I mean by that is you see a lot of creators talking stuff, but then you wonder if they actually live it and do it. I don't know, man. I don't have any doubt when I look at what Amanda's life is based on. So I guess what I'm trying to say is what Amanda puts out there, it appears to me what she puts out there is how she lives, which is a true, authentic self. Absolutely. Yeah. You know what? And it's clear to me. So, Amanda, if you're wondering whether you're putting on a truthful content, I'm getting that impression. We've never met, but how you put yourself out there is very authentic, which, you know, Kristina, we talked about Seth Kuhn. It makes me want to walk towards those kind of people, right? Because they're putting themselves out there. They're being so vulnerable and authentic. And I just kind of want to walk closer. I'm like, oh, tell me more. Tell me more. Tell me more. You know what I mean? So
tell me more. Who doesn't want to be inspired? Who doesn't want to learn the lessons that somebody a step, 2 steps, 3 steps, 4 steps ahead of you has already learned to hopefully make your journey a little less challenging?
That's right. That's right. So, Amanda, we are here celebrating you today. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. And listen, if you are feeling inspired by Amanda and her journey, drop a comment below and let us know what you're working on. Maybe you have somebody you're inspired by and you're like, how do I get this person on the creator spotlight with Keith and Kristina? Well, come knock on our door. Come knock on our door. Say, hey, I want to nominate Joe Schmo, and I want to put a shine a big light on them. So if you're not already following Amanda Getz or any of the great humans we've celebrated over the last number of weeks for our creator spotlights, I invite you to find them and follow them on LinkedIn. So, all right. Community Corner, Jimmy, Kristina, we're gonna keep pivoting. We're gonna stick around because we're gonna go to business and branding. And we're gonna continue the conversation on the Business Athlete Manifesto. And you know, speaking back to Amanda, Kristina, Amanda strikes me as somebody who would have like a manifesto. Maybe she has, but she strikes me as somebody with principles and values, and one that would, you know, articulate them and say, hey, here's who I am and here's what I stand for. That's she strikes me as that kind of individual. So but we're going to talk about the Business Athlete Manifesto, Kristina Flynn, and we've been talking about it for the last few days here. Yeah, let's do it. So over the last number of days, we dug into a number of different parts of the manifesto. And as I said to Nation a couple of days ago, Kristina, I created this manifesto as I was working my way through ICUC as a way for humans to get to know who I was as a leader, and for humans to get to know who I was as a human being. And it's almost like that mini, hey, here's my 14-minute video, get to know Keith video, right? And it's just a way for me to put myself on the table. So for the last few days, Kristina, we have been reviewing Put Humans and Wellness First. We've been talking about prioritizing physical, mental, and emotional self-care. We've been talking about leading with love. We've been talking about having good manners. Yesterday, we talked about empowerment, encouragement, support. And you said, Keith, I don't want to be empowered. I want to be supported when I fall and celebrated when I win, and I want to have access. We talked about that yesterday. But let's move into the next value that I have listed in the Business Athlete Manifesto. And I was excited to talk about this one because where you came from in the world of sports and athletics, Kristina, from your career, and then working for the NBA. And Kristina, it's this idea about competition. For me, being a business athlete is competing. And when we say compete, I don't just mean against others. It's about competing against your own mirror, your own self, holding yourself accountable, pushing your own limits every single day, and then having permission to fall and fail and accept that, and then having permission to succeed and celebrate and accept that. But it all comes back to compete. Kristina Flynn, would love to hear your perspective on the idea of compete in business and in life?
I mean, we were just highlighting Amanda, and her newsletter is called Life's a Game. And I think that perspective is something that really is resonating with me more and more, of trying to, from a mindset, business and sport or athletics have remained pretty separate from me, except for the fact when I was living or working in the NBA. And so for me, when I think now about competition, I am my fiercest competitor. I am always competing against myself, typically in my own brain. And I'm competing against the voices that are there. I'm competing against the things that are easier to do versus the things that are harder to do. So for me, competition in this sense of looking at it of like, how are you competing with yourself? But how are you acknowledging what the competition is bringing, and then how you're going to actually, what's the game play? What's the plan you're going to bring against it to say, I know this is what they're bringing. I know this is the plan. I know the voices in my head are trying to lead me down the path of something that's easier versus harder. And so how am I going to compete against myself and my own mind for its seeking of safety and seeking of comfort, quite frankly.
Tina, some people say that competition and the idea of competition can be toxic. It can be self-defeating. Always comparing yourself to your own mirror, what you did or didn't accomplish yesterday, or always comparing yourself to others. That, and I'm gonna admit to you vulnerably here, I've had to battle that through life. I've learned not, like, I don't do it anymore, but there's been times in my life where you find yourself comparing yourself to others, and one could argue that it could become toxic. What's the key to keeping the idea of competition healthy, Kristina?
Yeah, and I'll admit it too. I'm not over it. Like, I compare myself to others for sure. It's a daily thing. We're surrounded by other people that are doing magnificent things, and we know this. Social media is not always the representation of what is actually happening. It is just the things that we want to be sharing. So, can toxic competition exist? Yeah, it absolutely can exist. I think for me, it's a matter of, it's all about context. It's all about, what are your goals? What's your purpose? What are you trying to compete against or towards, and having that larger vision and mission. And then saying, you know what? The reality is that competition can be a way of motivation. Competition can be a way of tracking progress and momentum. So it's not for everyone. I love competition. I'm fucking competitive when me and my kids are playing basketball and they're 5-2. And I'm like, no, you ain't scoring on me. If I can get you, no, you're not scoring. I am a competitive person, and I always have been. So that works for me. And so I want to lean into the things that actually work for me. If I am a competitive person and that works for me, great. Then use that energy and use the momentum and use this idea of a season, where I think we don't talk about this enough in business as well, especially from a business athlete perspective. If you're an athlete, you're used to failing, because you're not going to win every single game. You're not always going to have a really great game. I was always really tough on myself when I had a bad game, but ultimately you're working towards this larger vision, which is the championship. So you can manage those failures in that moment and get back up and continue to work towards that vision. And I think that's a great perspective to bring to business as well. Your failures are going to look different, and maybe they're going to have a larger risk or larger impact on you in business, but ultimately, what are you working towards? What are you competing against? Who are you competing against? And how can you make that fun and enjoyable if that's something that works for you?
I think of competition as my accountability partner, Kristina. So when my alarm goes off at 4 a.m. or 3:59, I look at it and I'm like, okay, if I don't get up, somebody else is. And that's, it's as simple as that for me. Right. So, and I think of guys like, The Rock or Mark Wahlberg and, their social media things. I get up at 2 a.m. to work out or 4 a.m. to work out. Like, I can't lie. I feel like kind of that similar kind of mentality, right? Because as we're building this thing, I'm saying to myself, okay, I'm getting up at 4 o'clock today because the guy that's getting up at 4:01, I'm already ahead of him. That's important to me. Fucking right. It's important to me, actually. Right. So that's
and if it works for you, then lean into it. Why not?
Exactly. So to me, compete is very much the same as accountability. Because when I hear that, it helps me be accountable to myself, right? So it's not so much me trying to out arm wrestle you as it's me saying, okay, because I've I've never been the most talented guy in the room, but I've always believed I'm the hardest working guy in the room. So for me, competition equals accountability. Accountability equals competition. That's how I see it. And that's how I would offer Business Athlete Nation is maybe that's a way for you to hold yourself accountable, is just to kind of think about it from a competitive perspective. Right. So let's continue. Let's continue in the manifesto, Kristina. And what we're going to do today is we're going to knock off 2 today, because I'm really enjoying this. I'm going to come back with the next one tomorrow. But here's the next one. The other C word. And as you've gotten to know me, I think you know how much I love this one. The other C word in being a business athlete in our manifesto is this idea of curiosity. Be curious is all about staying open, asking questions, and seeking new ideas. But to me, Kristina, being a business athlete and seeking curiosity also means seeking listening and understanding. I love the idea of curiosity, because you can never be wrong or you can never be right with curiosity. You can just simply be curious, and there's never an end to it. So I love that. And I think that, I don't know if we as humans talk about it enough, or if we place enough emphasis on that value. But for me as a business athlete, or for people that are in my orbit, it's important that you know how curious I am. And I think that's a really important attribute. And I'd love to hear your perspective on the idea of curiosity and balancing curiosity with action. Kristina Flynn.
Yeah, and that's a big one for me. But what is curiosity and how does it play a role in my life? For me, I'm an incredibly curious person. I want to know why. I want to know how things work. I want to know. I love the work that I do because I am so curious. I get to sit down with people every day and I get to say, let's talk about your life. And now when I meet people, I'm always like, how did this happen? Like, how did you get here? I'll ask, my barista, like a local coffee shop, how did you get to owning this place? How did you get to being in this position? I'm generally quite curious. The challenge that I have had is, how do I actually take that curiosity and either let it inform what I'm doing or not? Because not everything has to feed your larger goal either. You can just be curious to be curious, and seek information is a very good thing. So how do you take that curiosity, make sure the things that you want to push your goal forward are there, let them fuel that, and then actually act? And the actually acting part, I have fooled myself for a very long time, thinking that I was making progress, when in actuality, I was just addicted to information. I was very curious, and it was likely tied to, I thought other people had figured it out. I thought other people had the answers. And like we were talking about earlier, I was looking for the solutions external to me, versus getting curious. And what I keep telling folks online, get curious about yourself too. Get curious about your story. Get curious about the reality that what you're telling yourself and the story you've been telling yourself may not be reality. So what is reality?
This is great, because as I've gotten to know you and we've talked to get to know each other, curiosity can also kill you, and not literally, but
100%.
Because it in many ways
it can kill your business.
Yeah, because it prevents action often. Curiosity will get in the way of action. So again, for me as a business athlete, and that business athlete mindset is being curious, but then to Kristina's point, knowing when to act. Because so sometimes I'll get a new app across my purview. You'll say, hey, Keith, a couple of days ago, hey, Keith, check out this Cove.ai app. Well, next thing you know, my brain gets lit up. Good. My curiosity brain lights up, and my neurotransmitter light up, and my endorphins light up. I get all excited, but I've had to teach myself, Kristina. Yeah, I've had to teach myself how to take that curiosity, place it aside, and then drive action. And how and learn how to balance that, because I wasn't always good at that, Kristina. I would find myself be curious, but never get anything done.
Oh right? Yeah, give me all the information. All the information is so much fun to see how other people are doing it. Yes. Other people are approaching it. What I have had to learn to do, and I would say I'm still learning every day. It's very difficult for me, but to your point, I need to give myself time to be curious in a way that's not driving anything forward. That if I want my brain to be able to have moments where it can go wherever it wants. Let it have those, set those aside, time block those, so that when I need to get shit done, and when maybe what I'm doing isn't giving me the same kind of high or the same kind of excitement, I know in the future I will have time set aside to not be guided by what I need to get done, but to have moments to just be curious and just see where my mind goes. Like I love taking time and just seeing where have my clicks taken me? Where has my brain gone from like where it started to where it ended up? That's a lot of fun to me. So I give and I grant myself that time to have it so that it doesn't get in the way of my daily progress.
There you go. So here's the key takeaway, nation, as we wrap up the segment today with business and branding with Keith and Kristina. Curiosity is going to fuel your growth. Stay curious, but don't let that curiosity paralyze you. It's paralyzed me in the past. It's paralyzed Kristina in the past. Some days it still paralyzes us. But what I would invite you to do is to turn those curious questions into action. And sometimes you might need an accountability partner for that, Kristina. You might be curious. You might say, I don't know how to turn that into action. Well, that's where we come into the Business Athlete Performance Lab, where we are here to help you be accountable to reach those big, audacious goals. So we started the business and branding segment leaning into the idea of competing with yourself, competing with those around you. And I use the idea of competing to hold myself accountable. We then talked about this idea about being curious and how curiosity can also paralyze you. But more importantly, if you can find it within you, curiosity can also spark action. So we're going to wrap up that part, Jimmy, of today's Business Athlete Manifesto for the business and branding segment with Keith and Kristina here today. And Tina, another great show. You know, we've been every day we reflect on our shows here, and we are now in, it seems like this great little rhythm, right? And I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the rest of the week's shows. And nation, if you are ready to start living the Business Athlete Manifesto, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Share this show with your friends. We're the only show that wakes up in North America to help you guys not hit the snooze button, to help you get accountable, to help you build that personal brand, and to help you achieve the biggest goals in your life. Kristina, final comments from you before we wrap up?
I know the action I need to take is fucking sorting this window out so that every day at 9:56 in this segment, my face doesn't get all jacked up from the fucking blind. So that's my action for today. If I come back here tomorrow and I still have this artistic representation on my face, I grant you the permission to just kick me off the show. How about that?
Oh, I love it. Sun, go away. When daylight.
Don't go away. I will sort it. I love sun. Please don't.
So I'm thinking when the daylight savings thing happens here in the next couple of weeks, we might have a little different impact on your lights there.
I just need to put some shit over it. Like this needs to not happen every day. It's artistic. It's beautiful, but it doesn't need to happen.
I love it. Hey, I'm Keith Bilous. That's Kristina Flynn. Over there, that's producer Jimmy. He's on the buttons. And over there, that's Marty and John. They're just walking to their appointments. We are here every single day, Monday to Friday, 8 o'clock Eastern time. The only morning show that helps you guys get up and achieve those big goals. On behalf of Kristina Flynn, I'm Keith Bilous. Flinner, let's get out of here. We'll see you guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
See y'all later.
See y'all later. See you, Jimmy.